Okay, we are live, folks, and we're just gonna do a quick little 4-minute countdown. Let's prepare the slides. Let me see what we're gonna try to talk about. I think that was called the Python GUI slide. I'm gonna move it lower here. So you got 3 minutes. Just wanted to describe what I'm trying to do here, and this is going to be the description of, or at least what this stream is going to be about. Gonna really create something called Python lower thirds. I'll be using Python in creating lower thirds for OBS. There'll be two GUIs, the control GUI and the lower third GUI. This should have the ability to say past lower thirds and reuse, and use lower thirds as a list box to show on reuse. Okay, so that seems easy enough. Let's get started. What we're gonna do, I think we're just gonna either show the entire window. Let's do this. So we're gonna go to the be right back scene. Just prepare the programming environment a little, and just make sure nothing's showing. It's not supposed to show. I just wanted to welcome everyone who's watching or listening in. Thank you. Where was I? So just make sure everything is chip shape. Just gonna lower this down, and we're gonna get started. Here we go. Where's my Python timer? There we go. We got actually a minute and 30 seconds left, but we're just gonna get started. Here we go. So we're gonna use two Python GUIs. The first thing we need to do is to run the GUI Search tool that I created, and it's just really gonna pull up some of the example code I worked on. Let's see. So in the two GUIs, the first thing we need to create is the control box and the lower third box. So the GUI here that you need to implement is called Tinkerer, the Tinker class, T-I-N. Oh, I know TK is one of the things it looks for, so there we go. So we're gonna pull up, I guess the first example of the Tinkerer was used here, but I think chapter 13, lab 13 was when we first used the Tinkerer. Let's pull up IDL like so, and the countdown is almost finished. It's gonna actually start counting up. There we go. Get a new file. Okay. So first thing we need to do is to import Tinker. Import all, and then we need to create two GUIs. One was called control GUI, the other one's called the lower third GUI. So we just gotta make sure we got a control GUI. Call this TK. I'm sorry, crow GUI.main loop. And the other one's called the lower third. Let's make it lower third GUI. TK. And call main. Alright, let's see how this works. See if it runs. Oh, we gotta save it. So we're gonna use the call this Python lower third OBS. And it should open 2 windows. Okay, 1, 2. And just to make sure that we know which one is which, we need to title the windows. And we also got to give it its size too. But we'll be sure to do that here. So we're gonna say control. I think it's called configure. It's called title. Oops. Okay, this one should be called lower third. It's called lower third, I guess. Alright. Double check the time here. See if this works. If not, then probably did it wrong. And yeah, control not defined. So let's look for example of title. Here are these results. Ah, there is no configure window, so we're just gonna call that title. Okay, and just for we'll change the colors later, color scheming control. So let's just give it something so that we can distinguish figure BG. Call this blue. This one. We'll be able to configure this later, but we're first doing the 2 GUIs. The control is not defined because I named it wrong. The 2 windows. Now, the title didn't change. Why didn't it change? Okay. Why didn't the window titles change? Should have changed. Why didn't the title change? Sentence size. Okay, just checking the chat, guys. Hold on. Okay. Why isn't the text not changing? Very strange indeed. Why isn't my title not changing? Is it because of this? figure out why my title's not working. Stop this and see if this actually fixes it. Why isn't my title not changing? That's why it's not surrounded by parentheses. Silly mistake. Alright, so got the two GUIs, both about the same size, and we'll increase the control GUI a little bigger to make the lower third wider, which is about there, about 800, 800 here. So this is the control GUI. Now it's the lower third. Alright. Let's change the lower third background. Something else. Instead of cyan, we'll call it green. Maybe lime green. Let's just see. We'll do just green. Okay. Alright, so we got the two GUIs. Got this one done slightly. We need the ability to share lower third. Let's go back to got the two GUIs. Let's see. Is that? So we're gonna switch back to what we were supposed to do, which is okay. So we got the Python GUI complete, but before we move on to the other steps of being able to save the other lower thirds, we actually have to add control widgets. So a good example of a control widget is a label, button, some action events, and functions. So we need a couple of things. Entry point with button event. This box. Probably add that later. label. And here's a couple of things. We actually have to list if it's widgets for control or lower third. Huh. Yeah. This is gonna be longer than I thought. Okay. Functions. Where are we now? How much time has elapsed already? So far, about 21 minutes have elapsed. Alright, so let's see if we can complete some of these things. Entry point with button, that should be on the control side. So we'll just say if it doesn't say control on the side, then it's going to be part of the lower third. Control control if it's functions. Now this could be either or, but what we need to first do is we need to define a button on control to show text on lower third. So that means it requires a couple of these points. All right, let's just do the quickest example, quick testing example would be button entry point and a label. Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna go back to the window, like so. Periodic programming environment. Which one is my window? There we go. Sorry. We got transition back to the environment. So we need to look at our widget that's running. It's got the lower third and the control. All right. So we need to define a button on the control to show text on the lower third. Quick test example will be button entry point and widget. Okay, so we'll close these. We're going to use the search feature again. Search for example. Okay. We already have an example here, so I think this is called the search GUI. But first we need to define a button. So I think that's a good example. And first define a button. First step is define button on control. That's the first step. Yes. And the chat widget's not showing. So that's the first step. Is first we need to define the button on the control. So here we go. So here's the example. We need a button. Let's just copy it to the lower third here. So we got the button defined. And just instead of it's called restart, just show me. Okay. And then the definition would be defined called show me. And the function. Just put it mouse cleaning. Control GUI. I'm gonna call this lower third GUI. Okay, so we got a button. Then we need to define the function. But what does show me need to show? Well, another example we need to look for is called a label, which is oops. Uh-oh. Do that again. Here's an example of some labels. It's not declared. Ooh, so it's a big example. See, this one is a better example of the label. Okay, we got that. Okay, I guess we're gonna take this, find a label. It should be called this should be on the control GUI. We'll use a different layout major later. The label should be blank for now. And this should show up on the lower third side, lower third GUI. And then when you click the button show me, it's supposed to just say label 1 text equals hi. Oops, it's supposed to be text t. Equals hi. see if this works. Let's just run this code, see if it works. Oh boy. We didn't define the label right. Oh, I forgot to pack it. Okay, that works. Let's see if we can change the font. Okay. Oops. Supposed to add it to the labels text. Okay, this sounds great. All right, so we got that. Now we want to change it, so we need an entry point on call this variable or your third text. Okay. Call this called lower third text. Entry from the control GUI or third text pack. All right. But that work? We'll see. Lower third for OBS. Okay. That's a good start. All right. We maybe need to resize this a little more. Should be more control. That's okay. All right, so we got that going. Let's go back to our example. We first already defined the button. So we already defined the button and show text in the lower third. Got that done. Or not done, completed. So what we did was define a button on control to show text on lower third. Okay. And we did that using a sample test of button entry and a label. So we got a button entry and label and define a function called define a function called showy. Function called showy. Okay, so we got the entry point button. Let's see how this GUI looks like. Let's go back to the oops. There we go. So we got the lower third GUI here, and the control GUI is called here. We may have to fix the changes later. Before we actually try to add more functionality, I want to be able to use this. So we want to have ability to save past lower thirds and use. Okay. All right, so in order to do that, what do we need? We need a button. Called save lower thirds, and I think another button called load. Load lower thirds. Okay. So save and load. When you load, it actually should load to a list box. So there's two things we need to do here. We need to do a save feature and a load feature. And then when we load the feature, it should load to a list box. We actually have the example. Let's see here. Actually have a working example right here with the search feature. We already have the ability to, well, we know how to do the ability to use a list box and then put it into a text area. But how do we get it so that We'll actually work on that on the next episode. But thank you again for watching, and we're gonna continue this tomorrow morning. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Again, let's review what we've done. So let's go back to here. Where's that? Oops. So we've gotten completed the control widget to show local third. We did the entry point buttons. We will use on reuse. I think I called this show the lowercase. Okay, so we'll continue this episode again to be able to save the ability of lower thirds and reuse, and then also call button stuff. I do support a local church, and that's the past sermons right there. Maybe a good way would be to show their YouTube channel as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should change that to YouTube later. Okay, so we'll continue this next time. There we go. Thanks for watching.